Well, hey friends, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast for women who want to find freedom in both their life and in their business. I own a multi-7-figure-a-year coaching business. I'm also a certified life coach. So I have the honor of helping thousands of women every single month make money in the online space and help them to get unstuck from whatever is holding them back, all without sacrificing their faith or their family. In this show, you're going to get the very best life and business advice, always with a healthy dose of Jesus. So buckle in, my friend. I'm so excited that you are here. Well, hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. This is going to be just a special bonus episode today. It's going to be something different than I've never done before. And I'm literally just going to read something to you. Is it okay if I do that today? Something just totally different. You guys know that I have a mastermind. It's called the Creators Next Level. Next Level Mastermind. It's at creatorsnextlevel.com. And it is currently taking applications for women to be joining us for our next year in the mastermind. And we just had a live event in Kansas City and had 50 women from the mastermind here. It was amazing, literally amazing. And, something changed in me, as I believe something shifted in a lot of the women who were present in a lot of their businesses. But I wanted to share with you something that one of the ladies from the mastermind wrote for me. So here's the thing. When you're in my mastermind, you have access to myself and Nell, who is our director of sales and marketing, on an app called Voxer, Monday through Thursday. So you can send us Voxers, ask us any questions about your business, the mindset around your business, something you're stuck on, anything like that, right? It's like, imagine it's like a walkie-talkie service. So Monday through Thursday, you can message back and forth for us. So Haley sent this to us on Voxer, and I was like, girl, I wept because it just made me think, wow, there are so many times we want to talk ourselves out of doing something that feels big, hard, and scary, like me with this mastermind. And then I always want to say to myself, and I want to say to you in whatever you're doing in your business, but who's losing when you don't do something that God is asking you to do? Because Haley has had a lot of breakthrough in business, and it's not necessarily like huge financial gains, but a lot of other things that are just as equally important. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you because I think that this will encourage some of you to A, keep going, B, get into our mastermind. We have an incredible group of ladies here. Again, there's an application. Go to creatorsnextlevel.com, fill out an application. We'll get on the phone with you and see if we're a good fit. But I want you to hear this from Haley Carter herself. Okay. Her business is called Redemption Unveiled. So Haley is young, gorgeous, lovely, mama of a lot of kiddos. And Redemption Unveiled, she has done a course this year on boundaries and on betrayal. And so here's what she said. Jennifer Allwood, you don't have to listen or read all this today, but it's been in my heart and I wanted to share. Feel free to share any of this if you want. So I'm taking that as her permission to have this podcast here today. Make sure you go follow Haley on Redemption Unveiled, just as a thank you. So she said, Jen, I never told you this, but on July 22nd of 2021, I had a dream about you. And in the dream, you were teaching people how to fish. And this is when I was like, oh man, my spine stood up. I was one of your students. And to be honest, I woke up and I didn't think much about it. I have dreams every night and it didn't seem especially powerful or significant, just another random dream. But over the next few months, I had repetitive dreams with you in them, which was strange because I wasn't necessarily following your teachings very closely. I follow several people's podcasts and online, but I never dream about any of them. But I continue to have dreams about this blonde, curly-haired business coach. After this went on for a while, it got my attention. And I told my husband that one day I thought you were going to be my coach. One day after I started making money, that is, ... Isn't that funny? See, so many people are like, as soon as I'm making a lot of money, I'm going to get into your mastermind. And I'm like, wait, but what if you need to get into a mastermind, my mastermind or somebody else's, in order to get the strategy and the mindset shift that you need to make the money? I mean, sometimes we're like, as soon as I get money, as soon as I can afford it, then I'm going to pay you to help me make more money. But what if you never get the strategy or the coaching that you need to even get to that place in the first place? Some people just have it so backwards. So I love that Haley is saying this. She said, I had spent 5 years pouring out my heart and soul into a blog that a few hundred people read. I knew that Redemption Unveiled was called to be more, but I didn't know how. At the end of last year, I joined your inner circle and quickly started to feel like God was telling me now was the time to join your mastermind, but it didn't make any sense because I had never even made $1. It gives me chills still. Okay. How could I invest so much money into a business that hadn't even begun? This was particularly challenging for my accountant CPA husband, LOL. Taking on such an investment challenged his sense of budgeting, LOL. But we prayed about it and both agreed it was time. So I joined December 28th of last year. Before I joined, I reached out and asked Kristen Farrell. Kristen is local here in Kansas City. Kristen has Not Your Mama's Bible Study. She has that on a podcast. She has a course. She's got something she's launched right now for the 25 days of Jesus instead of 25 days of Christmas. And so go look up Kristen Farrell as well. I reached out and asked Kristen Farrell about the Mastermind because I had heard you talk about her. She had one piece of advice. It's great, but don't join if you don't have time to prioritize it. Ooh. So I decided this year, Redemption Unveiled would be the priority, and I joined your mastermind. Now came the real challenge. How do I take what I do, which is just words, and turn it into anything other than likes, comments, and shares? Okay, I love this. And here's why I love this. Because so many of you, you're thinking, I've got this thing, and I just can't figure out how to monetize this. I've got this thing, but how do I make it more than what it currently is? I have this thing, but I can't see what it could be. I know it's going to be something different, but I'm stuck with only seeing with my natural eyes. And what I want to high five Haley for is she said, I just couldn't see it. But she stopped trying to look, I think, with her natural eyes and began to see with her spiritual eyes. Okay. She said in January, I began to dive into your mastermind to achieve my goal of just making $1 because I knew if I could make $1, I could learn how to make another. I launched my first course in February. To say it was a nightmare would be accurate. I had a goal of selling 10 people. At the end of the first day, I had sold 1, and it was to my sister. Oh, you guys, when I was reading this, I was just like, man, okay. I had a deep breakdown, the kind of breakdown that hits because you don't just want to sell a course. It's a kind of breakdown that hits because you feel like you're a complete idiot, not sure why you ever thought you could do the thing you're doing in the first place. I was overcome with fear and panic. How many of you have been there before? I kept thinking of all the time I'd put into this passion of mine, how many nap times I'd spent of my kids, how much energy I had used for this, how much hope I had for it to be something more, not just the course, but this passion. In this moment, I just knew that my dream would never be more than words on a screen. This voice was quite convincing that I would never reach anyone or change the world like I feel called, and it was crippling. You always say, Jennifer, that the results are just data, and I know that you're right. I have seen it over and over again. Yes, the results are just data, but that data packs a strong punch in the gut. And the journey to that data is costly because there's so much space for your fear and your failure. It costs me putting everything out there with no guarantees. It costs me taking a chance on my dreams. It costs me my time. It costs me my fears. It costs me my comfort. It costs me my safety. I bawled on that day. But by the time my launch closed, I had sold, it's going to make me cry just reading it, 12 courses on my first launch, which was more than my goal of 10. And then this cracked me up. Like, this is why I wanted to read this to you guys, because she kept having me going, laughing, crying. Unfortunately, my first course did not go well. Over the 4-week course, I had a horrible stomach bug that hit our family of 7. Yes, she has 5 kids. And someone was throwing up 17 of the 28 days for that course. It was a nightmare, honestly, and I couldn't wait for it to be over, but I did it. And the course was done. After it was done, the self-doubt immediately began settling in. No one's ever going to buy again. You should have done it better. You could have ... But then I remembered that I did the best I could with what I had and moved forward. From there, I just kept launching. Every product I created, I learned something new. Over the past 9 months, I've created 2 big courses on boundaries and betrayal. Man, if you need better boundaries, if you need a course on betrayal, go find Redemption Unveiled right now. I have a 4-week audio only Bible study, a mini course for women in prayer. And I've launched my private community twice. At every launch, I've done things wrong, but at every launch I have shifted. I have added, I have learned. Every launch I have failed, but every launch I have improved. You have taught me that the key is to stop preparing and to pick a date. This has been my downfall from the start. I have always wanted to prepare more, but to pick a date and to learn to fail so that you can learn what the heck you are doing. That's what the victory is. I have had to learn that the journey to my calling is filled with anxiety. And listen, Haley, for a lot of us, that's the case. The hardship isn't a sign that I'm doing something wrong. It's a sign that I'm doing something important. Praise God. Why do we always think, friends, that hard means it's bad or hard means it's wrong? That is just not the case. And so Here's what Haley continues to say. I don't get to stay small and feel comfortable along every step as I respond to the call of God in my life. In the past 9 months, I've generated over $6,000 in revenue, and I am so proud of myself, and I'm so thankful for you. Oh, I'm thankful for you too, Haley. It's not where I want to be, but that's not the point because I can see it now. I see the process of how to take what I do and create something so much more than just a social media following. Listen, some of those people you guys are following right now on social media, they're not making any money. They're not making any money. Don't do that. I'd rather you have a small following and be making some dollars. You taught me how to turn what I had, which is words and a work ethic, into creating something new. I got it wrong. You didn't teach me. Oh, it's going to make me cry. How to make $1. You taught me how to create one. And I think back to that dream and I see it now. You didn't get me a fish. You didn't even teach me how to fish. Why am I crying like a dork? You taught me the principles of fishing. The very important things that I need to know if I want to take part in the beautiful experience of creating a kingdom business. You have so much insight for business, but I think your real gifting, Jennifer, is that you understand kingdom principles that go against our human thinking. And you're teaching women to believe what God teaches instead of what our brain says. This year, you've taught me the principle of the kingdom, and I'm so grateful. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for walking in what God has called you to do to equip women to fulfill the call of God on our life. I know that God put you in my life for such a time as this. Thank you, Haley. Holy smokes, you guys. I'm still crying like a baby. And I shared that with my whole team. And I said, you know what, ladies, and I say this on every team meeting that we have, but the work we're doing is important. And it's not important because I'm important, but it's important because we're helping women get set free. And they're getting set free financially, and they're getting set free emotionally. There's so much head work that goes into building a business and building a successful, profitable business. Most masterminds that you're going to talk to people who are in those masterminds, most of them they're not going to give you a whole lot of mindset. They're just going to give you all strategy. When you shift your heart position so that your thinking can line up with a different heart position, so that the strategy flows out of that, everything changes. Everything changes. So Haley, I just want you to know I am rooting for you, girl. I am your biggest cheerleader. And I would have to say this is one of the kindest, nicest things anybody's ever wrote to me. So thank you for taking the time to do that. And thank you for letting me read it online, even though I didn't ask your permission. And I hope that this hits somebody else today. And I hope that if you have a dream and a vision and a desire, but you just don't know how to make that come to fruition, and you need somebody to teach you the principles of fishing, I want you to come join our mastermind. Just go fill out an application. It's at creatorsnextlevel.com. Myself and my team will be going through all those applications and making sure that we have people that are a good fit for the mastermind. We are a small but mighty group of women who are interested in making a real impact on this side of heaven and combining business with Jesus. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I hope you'll go fill one out. creatorsnextlevel.com, and make sure you guys go follow Sweet Precious Haley Carter at Redemption Unveiled. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you come back for every episode and that you share the Jennifer Allwood Show with your friends and family. Every time I see you guys post about it on Instagram or Facebook or something, it just makes me do a little happy. So thank you. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast if you never want to miss an episode. So you can go to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify or any of the other podcasting places and subscribe each week so that every week you get the new episode when it releases. So just know that I love bringing you relevant content. I love bringing you great guests. And one of the ways you can help us here at Team Allwood is by leaving the podcast a review. So if you have just a second to do that, would you go over and leave a review for the Jennifer Allwood Show? Thank you again. You're amazing. I'm honored to be here. Until next week. Bye-bye.